first win on their return to the international stage will fight tooth and nail.
45-55 for the social vote as well. That's pretty close between these two teams. Seems like the socials agree with what we think as well. First two bans to come out are going to be Nook and Flores. Very interesting. Leaving the Thatcher in, those EMPs will be enabled to open up some of those walls. But taking out the Flores is a pretty curious one for me. Usually clearing that utility through the 3 lanes of the top floor, as I like to interpret it as, can be quite challenging. And taking away Flores just makes that a little bit more tricky. They're going to be relying on more of those explosives to get that done.
I like that Warden ban as well, not something you see every day. I wonder if Direwolves are just trying to target a really strong operator with a good gun and a shield, or if it's specifically they're looking to play into perhaps the Ying, which was banned against them. And as I say that, they actually have already picked the Ying in Souffle. This was banned against them by FaZe in their match earlier today, and now it is unleashed. With that Warden banned out and the potential for some flash plays, I'd be a little bit scared for Mirage. They are going to have to adapt to this behavior.
I think taking out the Azami is a pretty scary one as well on the side of the defense for Mirage. Azami really enables some of these sites to just become such a fortress. Theme Park, similar to Skyscraper actually, as we casted a little bit earlier, they're not cutoffs aplenty. There's a couple of them here and there, but it's not super easy to get like long lines of sight into the bomb site, cut them in half, that type of thing, right? And so Azami is very enabling to build those fortresses in the site, and getting those taken away, meanwhile still keeping the Thatcher in or your hard breach, blah, blah, blah. I feel like can be a little challenging getting to that mid to late round where all the walls are open.
Well, let's start having a look at this setup. Wow. I gotta admit, man, you usually see 1 or 2 of some of these operators like the Oryx and the Frost and the Legion, but you usually don't see this full combo. This is an unusual lineup. You don't have any SAS boys, no Mute, no Smoke, no wall denial whatsoever, unless if you count those 4 impacts we've got on Mohesi and Dexter. And I wonder if
the one player that held the hatch for that post plant that Jackie we went for, right next to that split hatch. I think that was really well played from the Direwolves to be decisive on that decision. They all went for it together, and there was redundancy in that entry when it came through. That was exactly the win condition of that attack, and they went for it.
I love that. Good round, honestly. Credit to Mirage. They brought it back from a 3v4 into that eventual 1v1, largely due to some heroics there, but yeah, I actually, it's pretty disgusting, but I do like that attempt from Benji. Very cheeky, just a prone in Furnace. And I think Direwolves need to be extra careful because they got off scot-free pretty much. I don't think the Frost found a kill at all. And if he had, that may well have been Mirage's round.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Mirage are going to take us over to this Bunks site instead. Playing this hold around the cafe area, the Iruni gate will aid the control just outside of that cafe door. Meanwhile, both walls inside of Cash have been reinforced off as well. This hallway getting opened. I suppose what that means is that that waiting area is more of a power position rather than the office or initiation itself. We'll see how Direwolves deal with it.
I know this may seem small, but it's interesting to me to see more Legion play. I feel like we barely see any Legion these days, and that's 2 for 2 in rounds right now. I wonder whether it's... I mean, well, in the absence of Nook, you don't need to rely on traps to try and look for these lurkers. You could use the cameras, which we've actually foregone this round. No more Valkyrie for Mahesi.
Well, I think Legion is a bit of a necessary evil when you're playing against Direwolves, especially when you have Reaps picking Amaru and running around. I mean, sorry, not Reaps, it's Souffle picking Amaru and running around.
It was Reaps
and
last
you've also
round.
got...
Sharing the love.
Of course, of course. And then you've also got the rest of the Direwolves making some pretty unconventional entries. It looks like they're going to go for a... Ooh, okay, anyway. It looks like they're going to go for a bottom-up, more direct take onto the bomb site. Edie is going to get this pressure down from below, starting to burn that utility, and that's on that cache... That's on that cafe double just upstairs, but Melted, in fact, is able to take the engagement, that one-on-one through the vertical and take him down. It's
actually really ambitious. I've never seen anyone do that vertical line, let alone contest it from the other way, but this nade could be big. That must have been caught out by a magnet, though. And, in fact, Melted is still able to keep his shield alive. Direwolves desperately need to clear out this position because it is so powerful.
There's also a second magnet, I believe, right next to where Melted is currently sitting. Yeah, there you go. He's just turned to him. And so if they want to chuck that second grenade in, maybe that takes it down with it. Oh, it actually does. There you go. The magnet was just slightly too close to that shield, and Melted Shield is now being taken down. They do have cafe control if they wish to make that entry, but first of all, they have to worry about the player on the arcade stairs, and that was Kento that was just taken down by Reaps.
Well, there you go. You said it and it happened. Reaps is once again on a tear. On the Yana this round, a great gun. Back with the 1.5 again. G36 players unite and rejoice at that change.
So Direwolves have actually decided to flip their push entirely. They're no longer going for that cafe, more direct take, and they're going to look for that map sweep. And that's where that Legion Mine really comes into play. Reaps, he just stepped into one coming up the Dragon Stairs, and now we see all of Mirage starting to train their sights on the other side of the map.
Ah, but Souffle's nailed Benji. He's now going to have to sit on those bulletproof cameras with Kento. Direwolves are kind of everywhere all at once. So here comes Reaps round to the corner. Dexter's gone down. Reaps goes deep. Is he going to be able to flatten the player top wide? What a shot from Smoke. SMG 11, and it doesn't matter now. Melted steps up as well. He's the clutch player, but he's been taken down. All on Mahesi, but Pika to find the double with the F2. And Direwolves are 2 rounds on the trot on the attacking side of Theme Park.
Really nice pivot from the side of Direwolves. Once they realized that funnel coming up the arcade stairs and through cafe was a little dicey, it was pretty hard to work. They decided, okay, since we've been given this entire bottom floor control for free, let's just walk it up Dragon Stairs, make it a more multifaceted, like two-way pinch type push. And as a result, it forced Mirage to divide their attention. They were caught out in the gunfights. Reaps super good on that entry, coming in through initiation, eventually cleaned up by... Yes.
Which is pretty obvious in just the way we conduct ourselves, don't you think?
We're back in the game!
We're in the game!
We're back in the game!
I don't believe it! I see it, but I don't believe it. Theme Park. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, Mandy. I know Theme Park gets a lot of hate, but I actually love this map. I'm going to cop some hate for this, but this is one of my favorite maps to play. Disclaimer, when you were in a 5-stack and have a coordinated team. This map is hell to play when you're a solo on attack, but when you have a coordinated Theme Park attack, or like I love playing like a roam with Mute or Mozzie, oh, nothing beats that feeling.
You know what, Dev? I don't think anyone cares about your ranked experience. Theme Park is still Theme Park.
I've had people tell me that before explicitly. Dev, can you please stop talking about your ranked games?
I reckon that's a hot take. Your ranked takes. Anyway, we're back on Theme Park. We're going down to the basement. I mean, not the basement, the ground floor bomb site, Armory and Throne Room. Once again, Mirage looking for this extended roam, trying to take total map control, not only in this drug and storage sided area, but also in the top floor. Last time, the Direwolves were able to cut down the roam really quickly. There was a super explosive entry that came from the side of Reaps and dueled with Souffle there on the Amaru. Let's see if they can repeat the form again.
I can't believe that ED is playing with his hood on as well. Can't imagine that would be very comfortable. But Reaps with a nade might make it a bit uncomfortable for Mirage playing around Cash. It's Kento. He was taken out by Reaps previously with that Amaru. No Amaru this time though, as Kento starts to fall back.
Starting to play a little bit more passively. Last time, like you said, they were caught out, so they don't want to repeat those mistakes again. Already starting to bunker down on the side as well. Mahesi rotating some of those bayonet charges to protect the walls. ED are once again not taken down early, so if he wants to use that hard breach, there's still a minute and 45 seconds left to deal with it. What is the Direwolves going to do though? Are they going to look for that full top floor clear, or are they just going to consolidate their hard breach into barrels, into maintenance, that type of thing?
Oh, well, still in this 5v5, it's quite a distinction between the previous time Direwolves attacked this when they had those 2 early picks and lost their hard breach right at the start of the round. It means we might actually see a bit of hard breach attempted. However, there's impacts and bandit batteries that will make it a little bit more difficult for ED to get that off.
Mirage having a little bit more success there on denying this time for Direwolves with that roam. There is a player inside of the drug lab as well. That's Reaps playing the cutoff on that player, and the rest of the Direwolves now starting to go through that problem-solving phase. How are they going to execute onto the bomb site? Are they going to go and try for that lateral control, or are they going to go and open up one of the walls? Now, they only have Selmas, and there's only one more.
I mean, they've got the tin can openers from Bark, but I would have thought they would use that on the hatch, but I guess ED decided he just needed to get that open as fast as possible. I'm scared here, Mandy. For Direwolves, they had such a strong start, but they've done so little this round.
I would have to agree with you. There's only 30 seconds left, and there's really no main breach that has gone down. Only the hatch is open to them, and they haven't cleared out any of the angles so far.
Neither have they cleared out drug as well, so they're also susceptible to a flank. They really need to get a move on. 25 seconds, no picks through the vert, no walls open, and here comes the Candelas. They're gonna have to use the Ying to its fullest potential. Flash in the corner of Furnace, melted, taken down, Souffle for a double! You can't stop him! ED now forcing this plant down, but Kento is traded back. Can't get that plant off now, he fakes it. And Mohersi is running up, he is able to deny the plant, leaving it all up to Pika, and he is not able to get it done.
Really unfortunate in that execute from the Direwolves. The explosion that came through from Souffle getting that double down. ED, once he started that plant, he got off it in fear that the cover didn't come through. And as a result, the re-attempt that he tried to do, there was just simply not enough time to get that done. By then, a Mirage player had snuck through the cracks. I believe that was Mohersi looking for the retake. And unfortunately, that late round just doesn't work out in their favor. Mirage able to claw that one back on time.
Yeah, it really feels like there was a lot missing from Direwolves there. The eventual Ying push was so good. I loved that. But yeah, like you said, little mistakes do cost rounds. And Mirage now, after that extended technical break, they've finally broken through. They've got their first round. They've got that under their belt, bit of confidence to go along with it, bit of self-assurance that they can step up as they go over. I believe we're back to bunk daycare. This didn't work out so well for them last time. If you are joining us now from the A stream, welcome. We've just started this game. It's the same group as the match you've been watching with Wolves and FaZe. It's Direwolves and Mirage. Neither team have a win just yet. Both of them looking to break through to put them back in the game for a playoff spot.
Mirage taking us over to this bunks side. Looking like a pretty conservative setup from them, nothing too fancy and nothing too ambitious like we saw in the previous round. And the Direwolves have actually decided to bring along the Monty with them. They're not bringing the hard breach on ED anymore. The hard breach has gone to Pika instead. Shuffled the roles a little bit, and they're going to try and use this Monty to make this entryway through the cache side of the map.
I like the idea. Correct me if I'm wrong, man. We don't often see this from Jackie Wu. I don't really remember a lot of Monty play in APAC South.
Reap's going to be the first point of contest into the building. The first one he's going to have to take this fight onto is that player in the top of the office rotate, which has just been reinforced off. In fact, he does take some damage to a long line of sight from inside of Bunk, and the rest of Mirage are starting to feel keyed into this cache-sided push. Now, the hard part for Direwolves here is that a lot of the walls are closed, right? Nice drone hole kill, though. Reaps, he was taken very low from that early engagement, but this is exactly the problem, right? The bandits are going to go on the wall, and this anti-hard breach is very, very hard to deal with. You've really got to lob a nade through it exactly the right angle through this doorway, through the double door, in order to clear it. And they've just lost their set of nades in Reaps. Of course, this baby EMP is true. That's another thing that they can use to deal with it.
Doesn't stop the bandit trick though, does it? And we've just seen the final bit of hard breach used up in Pika's Selma. Means that Direwolves will not be breaching this dorm's wall. But Monty's now taking control of the top of Yellow Stairs, and we can see Mirage begin to pull back onto Arcade.
Direwolves are making their territory their own, starting to make their way in through this cache side. They haven't elected to open up the initiation side of the map, so they've really got to consolidate all their plays around cache. Once again, explosive execute here from Souffle.
Not just yet, they will have to move. They do jump in now, and wow, this has not gone well at all. It's just Pika left. Gonna have to clutch this 1v3. There's a lot of time to work with though. 1v3 becomes 1v2 with Melted being the clutch king, the most clutch player in all of NAL. Pika's gonna have to take him down, and Mohersi sees the player, can take down Melted. Now it's up to Mohersi, and it's just a 1v1. Guess what? Pika's got sight to himself. He hasn't taken out that arcade cam, I do believe, as of yet, which gives Mohersi a bit of an advantage in this situation. No C4, Pika goes for the bait. Watching the position, but Mohersi baits him out as well. He's got to decide now. He's going to go for the drop. He is, but Mohersi reads him like a book. And that means the scoreline's been evened up.
Bro, Rob, that was so awkward, bro.
Yeah, I felt like the Direwolves there, they got a little, I suppose, I'm not going to say lazy. That's not the word that I'm looking for. But I think they got a bit ambitious with how little room they were trying to take through that top floor. They had the EMPs, they had the grenades, and if they wanted to, they could make a breach on the initiation wall as well as getting a breach on that top yellow stairs wall. I think what that did was that just gave way too much real estate on the site for Mirage to keep playing around in that area, and only taking that that cafe side of the map made it quite hard for them to get into the bomb site. Eventually, one-on-one situation could have gone either way, but I think in general Mirage had a much better grip on both of those bomb sites in that final execute.
What do you think about this site then, Mandy? Lab and storage. It took a little bit of time for teams to warm up to this site. I think it was just up on instinct, the least preferred site. But once teams started to realize the way that they can play the map a little bit more and play a bit more aggressively, leading to that roam game, it started to develop a little bit more favor.
Well, I think this is very characteristic of Mirage, if anything. Mirage have already shown us, even on that first ground floor bomb site, that Armory throne room bomb site, that they like to go for these ambitious roams, and they like to play this more fluid playstyle where they're making full map rotations and helping each other out in that way. And so I think this is the perfect bomb site for their game philosophy going to Theme Park.
I'm going to keep my eye on Reaps in the entry later on, because he's been such a dangerous entry player, but he's also died first in the previous round. And when Reaps goes down early, you lose not only the util that he's got, the information gathering of the Geminis and the nades, but most importantly, you lose Reaps, the player that has given Direwolves a breath of fresh life into Stage 3 and helped them return to the international stage.
Direwolves once again choosing to bring along this Monty to aid this early game, making that roam clear hopefully a little bit quicker, because indeed the roam from Mirage is very, very extensive. There's a lot for the Direwolves if they want to break this map down and get full control.
Yeah, I do love this pulse pick. Monty's got to be extra careful. Mahesi could well get a vert kill here. At the moment, not walking on soft floor, but he's just a couple of steps away from it. Looks like he is running the tin can openers as Jackie Wu, so he can actually get a breach on that top yellow wall. But there's so much more ground still to be taken for Direwolves, isn't there?
Yeah, and that's exactly the beauty of the strat that Mirage has brought. It's going to be very tough for Direwolves to choose just exactly what part of the map they want to deal with. Their utility divided, their resources divided, and in the chaos is where Mirage thrive. 2 picks up now onto Direwolves.
And guess what? It is Reaps who went down first as well, so unfortunately he could not deliver this round. Thankfully for Mirage, it's very clear that they have got themselves in the game. Wow, big risk from Jackie Wu to ADS in that gunfight, but Souffle does manage to get the cutoff, so Dexter does not escape with his life.
And now this is the second part of the push that the Direwolves got to. They've got this top floor control, but now they need to translate it down to the ground floor. And not only that, through the vertical though, Kento, goodness gracious me, that is not good on the side of the Direwolves. You do not want to be losing the man count when there is so much more room to take, when there are so many more areas that they need to claim before they can even hit the bomb site.
It's a real rough one, isn't it, for ED? Great shot though from Kento, nailed him through the floor. Jackie Wu's going to have to show that even on the Monty, he can deliver. Souffle as well. He's already found the only pick so far as he throws out a Candela and then just gets wall-banged by Kento. Jackie Wu versus the world, and it's not going to last very long at all. New life into this game. Because after that big technical rehost after 2-0, the Direwolves have really struggled.
I think the thing is, taking your tactical timeout on round 6 can be quite dangerous in some ways, because whatever you talk about on one half of the map doesn't translate to the other half of the attack. So Direwolves are really putting those resources and time into claiming that 3-3 half. They believe that getting this attack is important to them, and that's something that's really curious to me.
I will say, potentially, I agree with you in theory that whatever they're talking about now in terms of strategy or gameplay doesn't translate into the second half. But what if it's mental? What if it's about, hey guys, you know, just chill out? Like, that does translate into the second half. And what's more, if Direwolves end up 3-3 on their attack and manage to break this momentum from Mirage, I feel like the mental is in a completely different field to if they lose 4 rounds in a row to Mirage and end up having to get 5 of their defenses to win this in regulation.
That's a really good point, and something that I suppose is very unique to this series with the amount of pauses that we've had, and keeping that momentum in this game is quite challenging. That's exactly why that tactical timeout is probably more important for that reason, if anything else. Direwolves now starting once again on this roam clear. Mirage, once again, looking to extend their way across the entire map, but this time Direwolves have got some extra tools to try and deal with that roam clear. They've got the logic bomb of Jackie Wu that will aid some of those entries in identifying exactly where those roamers are and timing those pushes perfectly.
Interesting that Direwolves decided to get off that Monty. They tried it twice, and it didn't work to great effect either time. Going for that Dockerby instead. Man, this feels really slow to me. There's so much work to be done if you're Direwolves, right? You've only got the one hard breacher. You can count the buck if you like. But there's so much map to clear out, and only then are you going to be opening up the site and opening up the vert.
Well, the thing is, it's a really tough decision for the Direwolves to make. They have two choices here, right? There's a big roam. Do we clear it? Or do we just segment part of the map and only clear exactly what we need? And it seems like they're going to be going for this roam clear. Reaps has just made his way inside of Cafe, but is being taken down through the vertical of Melted. There's just so many things that the Direwolves have to worry about if they want to go for total map control.
Reaps has just been shut down. These last 3 rounds, he has been the first player to die in the server. Not what you want from the would-be star player of Direwolves. At least, fortunately for Souffle, he was able to find 1 kill back, took down Benji. It looks like we've got 2 players fall back to site. Is there one more thrown? I think there is one thrown as well. Yeah, there you go. So it's a 3-1 split at the moment, and that player in maintenance is barely far behind as well. The big thing here for Direwolves is they've actually got full drug control, so they don't have to worry about that flank late round.
Honestly, I think this is a great call from Mirage. There's only 43 seconds left. The vertical is only just starting to come out, and we know that Mirage, in fact, are quite good at contesting the vertical. Yeah. So why not you just bunker down on the site, wait for these to get opened, and wait for them to panic as they exit into the site with only 30 seconds left to go.
Direwolves, big yellow breach open now, but got to worry about that furnace tuck-in. We can see there's no one there right now, but that doesn't mean Direwolves can't be worried about it. Big pick from Souffle, traded back by Dexter. ED now looking to move his way in, but there's a player hiding in the smoke. Peak has got to have an impact. Jackie Wu likely to push in as well, and he does find that pick, but traded back. It's all on Jackie now, as Kenso and Dexter will hide and not give him an inch. They instead take the mile and 4 rounds on their defensive stretch.
Let's go.
Big fans of the way that Mirage are currently playing that defense. That was a really disciplined way to fall back to the site and just take their time and allow Direwolves to essentially just run into the site with only 30 seconds left. There's no way they could have got drones in that time. And Mirage fully capitalized on the successes of that early to mid round. And that was the beauty of the strategy that they were running. That total map control, backing themselves in to hold onto as much of the map as possible, and relying on the fact that Direwolves will take too much time to make the decision on what they want to do is such a wonderful way to play Theme Park, and I think it's really led into this 4-2 success for them.
Yeah, I really liked that defense. I got to say for Direwolves, one thing I was disappointed that we didn't see was 2 hard breaches. Yeah, we had the buck with the tin cans, which I don't believe he ever used. Maybe he did open the hatch that last round. But you just get your ace thermite combo. I'm a big fan of that. If you can open up either the just any of the maintenance or barrels walls in tandem with that yellow wall, you cut off all of those backside positions and you make it way harder for the defense to have a solid spot to play. But funnily enough, it seems like the meta at the moment is to go for that single hard breach, because Mirage are also following suit with only an ace.
Well, the thing is, for Direwolves, like I said again, you can only do one of 2 things, right? You either consolidate one part of the map and just push it. That's where your double hard breach idea would work really well. Or you invest your utility and your resources into roam clearing. And that was what Direwolves went for each time they tried to attack into Mirage. Mirage, once again, I think are employing something pretty similar with their lineup too. They're looking for that roam clear. They're also electing to bring along that Dokkaebi. And they want to take as much map control as possible. It is this top floor bomb site, so admittedly there is a bit less of the map to take, but there's still something that they need to contest, and that's Reaps, first of all, inside of Dragon.
Reaps, the guy who's been shut out of the last 3 rounds without any impact whatsoever, and now he's in the Hell in a Cell position that's arguably one of the most important on this site. Playing around Cash, he almost loses his head, my god.
ED as well is there to support Reaps in this power position of the Dragon's Stairs. A Logic Bomb to come out from Benji. This is a pretty tough entry to make. There's really only one window and one doorway, and there's a lot of utility protecting it. There you go. Reaps is able to make that swing onto Dexter and take him down.
Gotta say, still negative in the opening exchanges, and he's taking quite a bit of damage from that one too. So Reaps really needs to step it up. He's not shown the Reaps that we expected at this tournament. Of course, he, like many of these Mirage players, are having his first debut at an international tournament. But for Direwolves, fortunately, they recompose here, make it a 5-on-3.
Benji's making his way in through the cafe side, but given away by the Wee Woo on top of the doorway. Wee Woo. Just looking to claw something back here. When you're in that man disadvantage, you need to try and see what you can find. Any pick, anything that you might be able to do to claw back some of that real estate. Because right now, there's not a lot of it for Mirage. It seems like Benji's going to double down here with Melted on this cafe side of the map instead and try and catch someone off guard here.
Yeah, Mirage haven't quite decided exactly where they're going to push yet. Melted's crouch walked over to this hatch to try and avoid any sound cue. Here comes Benji with a drone to try and clear out arcade and bunks and daycare. Make sure that this side of the map is clear. Down comes Melted on the drop. That would have been a pretty audible cue to Direwolves. Very nice little sledgehammer, but there's a 100% chance that Reaps knows exactly where Melted is here. He might lose his life to a nade. Pin pull might have been heard. Benji does take down Pika, but not without a bit of damage done once again by Reaps, and he can also find the final one. He might have died first 3 rounds in a row, but then he manages to get a 3K and get Direwolves back in the game.
Well played from Reaps and ED on the side of that Dragon Stairs. The strategy they employed there worked out perfectly for them. They had that double ADS that was protecting Reaps in his power position, as well as the line of sight open so that Reaps could juggle the 2 angles of the door and the window. On top of that, you have ED supporting him, so in case that control hatch drop does come through, he's able to be protected by his teammate. In the end, Mirage, it was all down to those entries, right? And unfortunately, it just didn't work out in their favor. Reaps found the timing on the swing and eventually win the round off the back of the man count.
Well, only 1 round separating these teams now, Mandy. Mirage looking to try and continue their lead. If they could get this round, 5-3, it'd be a pretty substantial scoreline. They'd be just 1 round away from getting a point on the standings. They already have 1 point in the standings from their overtime loss to Wolves. I actually did ask production earlier, do you mind if we do a bit of a spoiler warning for the previous game in this group that was happening on the A stream?
Go ahead.
Just going to make sure I have the exact... Why is Wikipedia not... Oh, I'm looking at... No, Wikipedia's not updating. I'm confused. Why is Wikipedia not updating? Oh, well. So what production told me was that, spoiler alert, guys, Wolves managed to take down FaZe.
Wow.
Yeah. I was as surprised as you are, which is why I'm trying to double check it on Wikipedia, which seemingly hasn't updated yet.
That is a very exciting result. All of y'all, go back and watch that one when you've got some time. But for now, we're getting stuck into it in the theme park. The round count is getting much tighter.
Sorry, is the 5-4? So I think the game is still going.
There you go. The game is still
I'm confused. Yeah.
That's okay. You might be confused, but hopefully these players are not.
So maybe that was a huge spoiler. The game hasn't even happened yet. Maybe I've predicted the future.
Have you looked into the future? That would be a little bit terrifying. Mirage is starting to make their way into the building. Once again, looking for that top floor entry. Made it a little bit easier as Kento is able to jump his way in. That ADS setup that ED and Reaps were doubling down on is no longer there, and they've been given a little bit more real estate on this side of the map.
Reaps is unlocked, baby. He's back in it. Took a while. Donutted for 3 rounds, and here he is back in the server. Somehow he's managed to top frag. 9 kills, despite just opening death after opening death. He's come over that dry spell.
Bomb located by attacker.
Benji, though, has made his way inside of the bathroom. There's still a couple players left to deal with on this side of the map. One inside of Initiation, supported by his teammate. Just looking through this long line of sight. Oh, actually, now the player in Initiation is quite isolated. That's Jackie Wu on the Wamai. He's been fully flushed out now. Not too many teammates around him to help him out. Reaps is the closest one on the other side. But that wall's being open. It's going to isolate Reaps in his position as well. Jackie Wu's on his own.
He's got a C4 too. Like you said, though, Jackie alone. Reaps has gone all the way downstairs. Is he going for a flank? He's actually going to play the vert C4. Doesn't have info, so it's a blind one, but that does give information to Mirage. They know his position. They know he was below. They knew that C4 blew. But what's Jackie been able to do? He's still hiding in initiation. He's about to get swung. Is he going to win the fight? He loses it. It's Kento who gets the better of him with 1 HP to his name.
45 seconds left to go. Mahesi has still got 1 more exothermic charge in his pocket, as well as 1 baby EMP, I believe. Oh, not baby EMP, big EMP on the side of Benji. So if they want to get open this wall inside of initiation, they can, but not with a lot of time left to drown out the site and plan and execute.
Don't know how that's happened, but it looks like Reaps has been downed. Might not be able to get picked up with time ticking away. Looks like they're going to commit to holding down the fort without him, but ED and Pika have sprung into action. Souffle as well has just left Benji all alone. Poor Thatcher, low HP, no diffuser, and realistically, no chance. Direwolves, after losing 4 rounds in a row, they've come back to even the scoreline.
This is shaping up to be a very, very defender-sided theme park.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, imagine that. It's almost like we said that before we got into the game or something like that. That's crazy. Now we're in the game, though. I think it really has come down to these early to mid rounds, right? The early round has been quite challenging because of the way that the teams have been extending out their roam and denying the entries, right? Getting their way, getting their face in that cash door, that top dragon window, that type of thing, that's the first challenge to overcome. Not only that, but even once you get into the building, the mid-round problem solving on theme park is very, very challenging. Choosing exactly what walls you want to go open, what extra part of the map you want to take control of to plan out your execute is super difficult because you're very limited on options of walls that you can get open. You can't really play cutoffs, that type of thing, right? And so I think with the bans that have come through, this is very, very defender-sided.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of that Valk. We saw it, I think, 1 round. Now we're seeing Echo for a bit of information gathering from ED.
10 seconds left.
I'm keen to see whether this is going to be used aggressively, rogue style, or whether this is going to be more of a late round kind of activation for ED. I quite like seeing that mute. I can't quite tell whether most of that is for wall denial or drone denial.
Direwolves are going down to this Armory and Throne Room bomb site, and they're employing exactly the same philosophy that Mirage did when they played this bomb site. They've only got 1 player on the bomb site, babysitting just in case something really, really bad happens, and the rest of the Direwolves are shaping themselves around the entire map, looking for that total map control, trying to deny Mirage as much real estate as they possibly can.
Dexter's going to start gathering some info here, as Mirage are looking to take as much map control as possible. Like you said, the name of the game has been full map clears here. Every round from both teams. And the first thing that they find will be Souffle playing top of the stairs with a shield to boot. He's been droned, he's got ADSs to protect him. Oh, for a second I thought that was a player, I got debated. Gemini gone down, flashbangs go in, Souffle feeling that pressure, but he's still alive for now.
Souffle can tuck in his way behind that half-wall as well as the shield, and that's making this entry very frustrating for Mirage. That utility dump did come through, but both ADSs have been reactivated, and Souffle is still alive in his power position.
Struggling a little bit with dancing around the shield. He's done a bit of damage to Kento here. A flash goes out, he's full white. Doesn't reveal it. Kento does find 1 pick, but immediately traded back. Another flash goes through, and Souffle has been traded by Melted. So a good start here from Mirage. They win the exchange.
Not a bad start, but with a lot of time wasted off the board, they've only got a minute left, and the control that they've got is just inside of cash and just inside of control. Now they're going to drone out this top floor with the Gemini, and they're going to see that the rest of the Direwolves have fallen back and that they do indeed have that top floor control. If they want to make use of any vertical, there's actually not anything left though because that buck went down early.
Yeah, true. It's a big player to take out. I wonder whether there is wall denial or whether this thermite... there is a single mute jammer. The thing is, that mute jammer is going to be pretty easy to shoot off from above, so I would expect the yellow wall to be vulnerable here if Mirage decides to go for that. It's going to be much harder to go for maintenance, though. I guess they do have... I completely forgot that they've got Dockerby with the secondary EMPs, so it's going to be possible if Benji can rotate, and there you go.
I think this is the right call, because if they wanted to go for yellow, they would also have to check... the bathroom, and realistically, they don't have enough time for that. There's only 26 seconds, and the wall has only just been opened, and they haven't cleared Pika inside of Gong either.
Pika!
Oh, no!
Diffuser's down, and Pika is having a laugh. Hiding in Gong, but still numbers are even. Melted's been taken down by Jackie Wu, and Pika hunted down, not taken out. The hunter has become the hunted. Direwolves take the lead.
I think that round lived and died through that Dragon side kerfuffle that happened early on in the round, really. As soon as Mirage were able to deal with it, there was only 1 minute and 29 seconds left in the round. If you want to go for a yellow-sided take, like you said, that wall could have been vulnerable, but you can't do that until you check Drug Lab and until you check the bathroom. And you just don't have enough time to do that when all Mirage players have focused all their resources into only clearing the cache side of the map. They were forced to go for that maintenance wall. With only 25 seconds left, there's not enough time to get your drones in the bomb site either, and Direwolves playing a very disciplined game are able to claw back another defense round.
It's big for Direwolves. They really lost their mojo in the second half of the first half. They won 2 rounds. We had that rehost or tech pause, and then they lost 4 rounds in a row. Mirage really found their confidence, but since then Mirage has been unable to win a single attack round, and Direwolves have demonstrated they have solid defenses of 3 different bomb sites. They now return to offers initiation, and this was a fairly cut and dried affair, wasn't it? Reaps went massive. I believe a 3K on for the round.
For me, now that we've gotten to this second half of the map, it is possible for Direwolves to close this one out in regulation. I'm turning to Mirage to see what their problem-solving skills are going to be like, because looking for this total map control and getting ambitious with the attack is clearly not working. I wonder what they're going to change, bringing this Monty and bringing this Ying. And Ossa as well. That could be exciting.
Yeah, it's unusual. I don't think we've seen that. In fact, it's 2 shields, essentially, if you count the Ossa and the Monty together, plus the Ying. That's quite unusual. Kento's actually holding out a Candela. What's he playing at right now? He's put it away. Just toying with the idea. Oh my god, ED. Got a bit of a jump scare there as the hatch was opened above him.
Reaps, though, once again, early on the contest. He's got his own rotate that gets him to this power position in top of Dragon as well, so he's quite mobile in this position, but has a Monty that's giving constant information of his position. He's going to be joined by Pico, who's supporting him inside of the hallway as well, and Mirage, where are the rest of these players? It doesn't seem like there are too many right behind this Monty itself. Dexter is able to find a grenade, I can only assume from the ground below. And that's right. Oh, there we go. The info is coming out on the vertical. If this nade connects, that could be good.
Well, unfortunately for Dexter, Reaps isn't actually in cache right now, and so the floor is solid. Looks like Dexter's just watching for his flank ED, currently in Throne. This Monty is kept at bay by a nice crossfire, not really able to do much other than call out information.
And really, the rest of Mirage do not have that much estate to support this Monty at the moment. Reaps is going to find really great timing on the utility, but is not able to connect the full shots onto the kill, and Kento's able to make his entry.
Wow!
Not even before taken down by these long lines of sight. Only 1 minute and 10 seconds left, and still ED's loitering his way down in the ground floor as well. There's just a lot of work here for Mirage to get done, and the Direwolves are slipping back into their shell.
Sketchy execute for Mirage, isn't it? It's so claustrophobic. So many players are taking a lot of damage now. Benji, 1 shield down to try and contest these long lines. Mahesi's also managed to take control of bathroom. ED flushed out from below, but he's got a C4. What's he going to be able to do with it? Oh no! What a frustration! ED fluffs the C4 throw, and on the back of that, Mirage get themselves in the game. It ends as a flawless round. What have we just witnessed?
Wow, I can't believe that is how that round ended up. As soon as they got that control inside of cache and they're able to find the utility with the Yin Candelas and the smokes, they went straight for that execute. They didn't dilly-dally like they did in the last 2 rounds. Great problem solving from Mirage through that mid-round, just saying, okay, guys, we really got to go now. We haven't done a whole lot until now, so it's the time to make this happen. And off the back of that Ying and the Monty pushing in, that's, I think, 4 smokes on the board between the 2 of them. That's exactly what you need to cover up all of Office, and the execute they went for was pretty successful.
Yeah, very unusual attack, I will say, from Mirage. That was... I said the word claustrophobic. That's just what I think of. How awkward is it to try and play all your 5 players within arm's reach of each other? You can't put 1 foot astray. But guess what, Mandy? We're at my favorite position now.
Are we?
Break point. I love it. 5-5. The next team to find a round gets 1 point on the standings.
The Direwolves are on the defense, and typically through this game, has been quite defender-sided, with the exception of that last round, which is quite explosive from Mirage on the execute. They are going to look to repeat one of these top floor bomb sites. It's not the initiation one, it's the bunk side one instead. And so Mirage have got a little bit more of the map to work through if they want to go for a cache side sweep.
Keen to see this early round. Who's going to win this opening exchange? Because it's been back and forth all game. It tends to feel like either Reaps goes down first or Reaps finds a multi-kill. That last round being somewhat of an exception.
This is a bit of a playstyle change, in my opinion, from the Direwolves. They're not doing this early contest on the Dragon side anymore because they've decided to pick the bunk side instead, and they know that Mirage have got more of the map to work through, right? They've just got these long lines of sight open, waiting for that sort of second phase in the attack, and that's where they're going to contest them.
Oh, Reaps struggling with the drones, feeling that pressure. ED's rotated over as well. No Monty this time around, but still that Ying persists. And in it goes, in Kento goes as well. It's Benji on the front. Oh, but the reinforcement's gone off. They might not realize though, I think Reaps has still managed to sit inside of Vault, holding on for just a moment longer.
Once again, they've locked out Jackie Wu, who I believe is stuck inside of Initiation now with all his Wamai charges. Not bad from the Direwolves. They've seen that the roam clear has started and is coming through. The time is being wasted, so why not close off those rotates, leave Jackie Wu in the dust, but then anticipate that the time is going to run out once again, as has the fashion of this game gone.
Oh, Jackie Wu's surely a dead man right now. Caught between a rock and a hard place with 5 hungry Mirage players, but Kento avidly watches for Reaps and takes him down. Mirage are poised to get this advantage 5v3. They do it. Mahesi to take down Jackie Wu. Now there's a minute left for them to execute on the site.
Direwolves have got a bit of a hole in their plan, and that is the rotate just at the top of Narnia. It's giving Mirage an in to cut off this hallway if they need to. Now Edie is forced to train his gun on it.
Iruni gate cleared. Potential for the EMP to come through and a breach on the site. Pika not really in a position to go for the juggle here. And I believe he is aware that that breach is going to get opened. Oh, this is such a tough position. Souffle down below does find Kento. I don't actually know that wasn't below. I honestly couldn't tell you what angle that was. Through the drone hole, perhaps? If so, that's disgusting. ED! What have you managed to do here? He's gone for a huge flank. And just like that, Direwolves might be able to find match point. Benji and Melted, desperate, destitute. Just 2 of them. 10 seconds remaining. It's a desperate attempt now. Benji dropping down, but he's all alone and he is done for. Direwolves match point.
ED regressing into waiting there was instrumental in Direwolves being able to win out that round. As soon as Mirage started to go for the wall, ED knew that his teammates on the site would be in trouble, and that was the timing that he needed to get back into that attacking backline and find those picks. It was perfect timing for that. Souffle, the turret of the team, is just able to hunker down the back, goes, don't worry guys, just worry about the front. Just worry about taking the fights there. I've got your back. And as a result, Direwolves claw that one back. Defender-sided, it really is in every single way this match has been.
Certainly has been. Wow, Souffle and Pika have really stepped into it, haven't they? Nutty players, both of them, both cracking double digits, the only ones in the server to do so. And Mandy, we find ourselves with Direwolves getting their first points of the tournament so far. And a shot at the full 3 out of this one. What are you thinking, Mandy? Is Mirage likely to push overtime?
It's tough. Direwolves have got one more defending round. I think I alluded to this earlier. They could close out in regulation just because of how defender-sided this entire series has been. Souffle, I really want to point out, I don't think we've spoke about him a lot this game. The spotlight's been a lot on Reaps and his entries, but he's a quiet achiever. Souffle is that player on the Direwolves that just does what you need to do, what you need him to do. And for that particular round, that was just hold the back of the site and make sure that ED does not die on the smoke. And that was pretty much it, right? Every single round, Souffle has been really instrumental in just allowing Direwolves to be where they need to be and to let his teammates do their job without being backstabbed. And I think it's so important in this particular series in Theme Park.
Now the pressure lies squarely on Mirage's shoulders. Stakes are high.
10 seconds to go.
They've already lost 1 game in overtime. They only have a single point on the standings. If they lose this game, I think most people would expect that they will finish last in the group. The only team they won't have faced in their group will be FaZe. And I think a lot of people are looking at FaZe as behemoth team, one of the favorites in the tournament. Mirage need to push overtime here.
So interesting idea from Direwolves. They actually brought the mirror, but they're using the mirror on the roam instead. They've got the first one, I believe, is on that office wall on the rotate, facing in for that cash entry, and anticipating that Mirage, time and time again, they've always done the same thing, will go for a cash-sided push. Who would have thunk it? It's supported by Soufflé as well, who's got long lines of sight inside of office and inside of the hallway. And I don't mind this from the Direwolves. They've read into the fact that Mirage don't really know how to change their push. They're only going to do one thing, and so why not dedicate an entire mirror to it? It's a good idea.
Good mid-game adaptations. Mirage here, pushing forward. It's Dexter. He's in a great position here, isn't he? All the way up in initiation and ready to backstab. What a far roam. With so much util offside, Melted spots a bit of it. Eventually his Twitch drone is taken down, however, and Mirage seems somewhat stalled.
It's really tough because Dexter is about to be met by that mirror. We're now inside of office.
Hang on a second. Look at this from Soufflé. He's on for the flank. He's just gone straight past most of the attackers. Dexter's found a kill, but Soufflé eventually does make his presence known. He goes in through office, and now he's really feeling that pressure. He's going to back on out all the way downstairs to live and to fight another day.
Really well played from Soufflé to find that timing going through bathroom, knowing that the rest of the Mirage players have their eyes focused on this initiation side. We can see the wall being opened by Mahesi, that's opened their way inside of Bunk. But really, once again, the time is ticking away. We say this over and over and over again in this series. Soufflé is still elusive inside of main, so there's a C4 to connect from below onto Melted, and the man advantage even further for the Direwolves.
You know what, man? Like, you would not be remiss for thinking that this is an upstairs defense with just how much presence there has been on the top floor. And Direwolves have found 2 kills out of it. Now it's desperation for Mirage. Direwolves could legit just 4-stack on site and probably win this round out with just 40 seconds left. Things look dire for Mirage.
Dex will be his way inside of Arcade, trying to take the gunfight onto the player inside the drug lab. That's Reaps on the other side, on the alibi, that 1.5x license that he's been given. 2 or 3 players now collapsing on his position. The flashbangs do go out, and Dexter, the first one in, he's able to connect the shots and take down Reaps.
Big player to take down, but guess what? 20 seconds left. No hard breach enabled on the site. Mirage have to go big, and they have to go now. Direwolves on the cusp of this first win. They're going to make it work. It's Edie and Soufflé both. Pika goes down. Mahesi is not going to get it done. There's no chance. That diffuser's going down. Mirage have been taken down. And Direwolves find their first win of the major.
And I believe not just their first win of the major, but I think their first win internationally, I believe. Or do they have a couple in Charlotte as well? Are you sure? Oh, that was.
I'm not sure. No, that's why I said I think so.
You think so? Okay. Well, for Direwolves, that's a big result for what was a very, very long series. No, not just in the pauses and in the delays and the momentum, but in the game itself. Every single round went to what felt like the full 3 minutes, and the Direwolves out-staminaed Mirage on every single defense. And yeah, I just think they played that super well. They were very disciplined, they were very patient, and that's what it took to win out that series.
People often say a BO1 is a sprint, but that game surely felt like a marathon. We'll break it down in just a few moments.